Your mind is the battlefield. Win it or lose everything. There is a war happening right now, not out there in the streets, not on the front page of the news, but inside you, right now within the quiet folds of your own mind. A battle is being waged, a battle that will decide the course of your entire life. Victory means freedom, power, destiny fulfilled. Defeat means a life of regret, of wondering what could have been, of silent desperation. Your mind is the battlefield. Win it or lose everything. You see, the world has always belonged to those who understood this simple truth. Success is first won within, before it can ever be claimed without. Thomas Edison understood it when he burned through 10,000 failures just to summon one filament of light into existence. Abraham Lincoln understood it as he rose from crushing defeats to lead a fractured nation. Carnegie, Ford, Disney, they all fought their battles first inside the walls of their own minds, and they won. Because before there is fortune, before there is legacy, before there is empire, there must first be belief. Not the empty, wishful kind, but the kind that digs into the marrow of your bones and whispers, "I will not be denied." Without belief, all action is hollow. Without belief, even the strongest hands tremble. Without belief, the mind fractures and folds under the first sign of resistance. But belief must be forged. It must be built in the fires of discipline, in the storms of doubt, in the cold silence when no one is watching and the applause is nothing but a distant memory. You are not born ready for this war. You become ready. Every day, the battlefield of your mind is invaded by fear, by self-pity, by excuses dressed in the armor of reason. They tell you you're tired. They tell you you're too late. They tell you it's not your time, not your destiny. They whisper that the mountain is too high, that the dream is too foolish. And every day you must choose. Will you listen or will you fight? Mindset is not motivation. Mindset is not a fleeting surge of energy. Mindset is the architecture of your reality. It is the steel framework upon which every dream, every goal, every victory is built. It is the foundation of your empire. And the truth is brutal. If you do not build it consciously, it will be built for you out of the broken stones of fear, doubt, and mediocrity. You must decide to be the architect. You must decide to forge a mind so disciplined, so resilient, so unbreakable that the world bends before it. Because it must. Understand this. Clarity is your first weapon. A mind without clarity is like a warrior swinging a sword in the dark, dangerous, desperate, and ultimately doomed. You must know what you fight for. You must see the vision of your life with absolute precision, etched so deeply into your spirit that no storm can erase it. It was clarity that kept Walt Disney alive when he lost everything. Clarity that told him his kingdom of dreams was not a fantasy but a certainty, waiting to be built brick by brick. It was clarity that lifted Henry Ford from a bankrupt, unknown mechanic to the man who put the world on wheels. Vision is oxygen. Without it, the mind suffocates. You must wake each day with your vision burning behind your eyes. Brighter than any obstacle, fiercer than any opposition. But clarity without purpose is still a ship without a compass. And purpose is the force that turns belief into action. Purpose is the why that lifts you from your failures. Purpose is the fire that will not let you quit when your body screams for rest and your mind pleads for comfort. Without purpose, victory feels hollow. Without purpose, even success can rot you from within. Purpose transforms labor into legacy. Purpose is what kept Lincoln moving forward when death threats shadowed his every step. Purpose is what drove Helen Keller to pierce through the darkness of blindness and deafness and ignite a light that still shines today. Your purpose must be bigger than your pain. It must be bigger than your fear. It must be bigger than your excuses. And once your mind is armed with belief, clarity, and purpose, then you must temper it with discipline. Discipline is the soldier of the mind. It is the part of you that marches when motivation flees. It is the unseen hours of practice. It is the decision to act when no one else will, when the reward seems distant, when the grind is brutal and unrelenting. The battlefield of the mind is littered with the corpses of the undisciplined, the ones who started strong but fell when the first hardship rose. You must become ruthless with yourself. You must become the commander who demands excellence when the world offers excuses. Because in the end, your mind will not be conquered by flashes of brilliance. It will be conquered by relentless consistency. And what fuels discipline? It is action. Action, not thought, not planning, not dreaming, separates the victorious from the defeated. You can have belief, vision, purpose, and discipline, but if you do not act, you rot. You decay under the weight of your own untapped potential. The battlefield rewards the one who moves. Not the fastest, not the flashiest, the one who moves through fear, through fatigue, through failure. It was action that pulled Edison through failure after failure. It was action that allowed Lincoln to lose election after election, yet stand to win the presidency. It was action that took Carnegie from poverty to empire. They did not wait for the stars to align. They did not wait for certainty. They moved. And in moving, they bent the world to their will. Action creates momentum. Momentum crushes fear. And fear is the true enemy. Fear will tell you that you need more time. Fear will tell you that you need more knowledge, more validation, more perfection. Fear is the whisperer in the shadows. But action is the sword that silences it. Move, even if your hands shake. Move, even if you stumble. Move, because movement is life. And in this war, stagnation is death. But as you move, as you fight, as you bleed across the battlefield of your own becoming, you must remember one thing: gratitude is your shield. In the heart of the storm, when the bullets of doubt and fatigue tear through your will, gratitude becomes the armor that protects your spirit. Not passive gratitude, not the soft, timid kind, but active, aggressive gratitude. The kind that says, I am grateful for the battle itself. I am grateful for the scars because they mean I am still alive, still fighting, still becoming. Carnegie did not curse his poverty. He thanked it, for it forged in him a will so fierce that empires bent before it. Lincoln did not lament his failures. He honored them, for they shaped a wisdom deep enough to heal a broken nation. Edison did not despise his mistakes. He treasured them, for they illuminated the narrow road to greatness. Gratitude is not weakness. Gratitude is strength. It reminds you that every hardship is a hammer, forging the steel of who you are meant to be. And when the storm changes, when the battlefield shifts beneath your feet, as it always will, you must meet it with adaptability. The rigid mind shatters. The flexible mind conquers. You must be willing to evolve. You must be willing to shed your old skin, to burn down what no longer serves you, to rebuild yourself from the ashes of what was into the towering force of what must be. Ford adapted when the world called his vision madness. Disney adapted when banks slammed their doors and dreams crumbled around him. They did not mourn what was. They built what could be. Adaptability is not surrender. It is strategic evolution. It is the quiet realization that in this life, survival is for the flexible, but victory is for the ones who adapt with purpose. And yet, even as you adapt, even as you pivot and rebuild, you will fall. You will fail. This is not a possibility, it is a certainty. And that is why resilience must become the rhythm of your heartbeat. Resilience is the courage to stand up after the 100th fall. Resilience is the audacity to look failure in the eyes and say, is that all you've got? The names you admire, the giants of history, were not spared suffering. They simply refused to stay down. Lincoln lost 8 elections before he won the only one that mattered. Edison failed thousands of times before he lit the darkness. Disney faced bankruptcy, betrayal, and ridicule before the first brick of his kingdom was ever laid. They won because they refused to accept defeat as final. Understand this. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is the training ground of success. Every wound you bear, every scar you wear, is a testament not to your defeat, but to your will to rise again. But resilience is not blind stubbornness. True resilience is fueled by learning. Learning is the sharpening of your sword. It is the alchemy that turns mistakes into wisdom, that turns pain into power. A mind at war must be a mind always learning, always seeking, always questioning, always hungry. Complacency is death. Arrogance is death. Ignorance is death. You must become a student of your own life. study your failures. Study your victories and study your enemies, your allies, your own thoughts. Ford studied every failure until he found the rhythm of efficiency that changed the world. Carnegie read obsessively, learned ferociously, until he knew the currents of wealth better than any man alive. Disney immersed himself in art, business, psychology, storytelling, anything that could sharpen his dream into a weapon. Knowledge is not power applied. Knowledge is power, and application requires humility. It requires you to admit you do not know everything. It requires you to remain open, even as you ascend, even as victories crown your head, because the moment you believe you have arrived, the moment you believe you have mastered everything, you are already beginning to fall. The battlefield of the mind never sleeps. The war never ends. There is no final victory, no ultimate summit. There is only growth or decay. There is only evolution or extinction. And the mind that wins, truly wins, is the mind that understands. This is not a battle you fight once. This is a battle you fight every day. Every morning you wake, the enemy is at your gates. Fear, doubt, comfort, complacency. They wait for you, cloaked in reason, smiling with soft, familiar faces. You must rise with armor on your spirit. You must march into the day with the fire of belief, the clarity of vision, the force of purpose, the ruthlessness of discipline, the momentum of action, the strength of gratitude, the agility of adaptability, the ferocity of resilience, and the endless hunger of learning. Because if you do not command your mind, it will be commanded for you. If you do not win this war, you will be enslaved. Not by chains you can see, but by chains you forge yourself. Chains of regret, chains of potential left unclaimed, chains of dreams buried under the rubble of fear. And no one is coming to save you. Not your parents, not your friends, not your mentors, not some distant hero riding on the winds of fate. You are the hero you have been waiting for. You are the general of your own mind. You are the warrior of your own destiny. You are the storm that will either break the world or build it anew. This is your battlefield. This is your mind. Win it or lose everything. Because the stakes are not small. The stakes are your life. The stakes are the legacy you will leave behind when the final battle has been fought and your name echoes into the halls of eternity. Rise, fight, win. There will come a day sooner than you think when you will look back on this moment. You will stand at the summit of your own mountain, or you will stare up from the valley of your abandoned dreams. And in that moment, you will know it was not luck, it was not fate, it was not circumstance, it was you. It was every invisible battle you chose to fight when no one else saw. It was every morning you rose when your body begged for rest. It was every moment you silenced the voice of doubt and dared to move forward into the unknown. It was every small, brutal, courageous decision to keep fighting. When the world gave you every reason to quit, success is not a mystery. Greatness is not reserved for the chosen few. It is built moment by moment, thought by thought, action by action, by those who understand. The mind is the first battlefield, and it is the only one that matters. You cannot lead others until you lead yourself. You cannot build a future until you command the present. You cannot seize a destiny until you seize your mind and bend it to your will. This is not easy. It was never meant to be. Easy is the siren song of mediocrity. This is the path of the few, the bold, the relentless, the ones who stand when others kneel, the ones who rise when others fall. And now, the choice is yours. You can shrink. You can surrender. You can join the ranks of the defeated, the forgotten, the bitter souls who blame the world for the wars they refuse to fight. Or you can rise. You can armor your mind. You can charge into the fire with your head held high, your heart set ablaze, and your spirit unbreakable. You can claim what is yours, not by birthright, not by luck, but by the blood, sweat, and will you pour into this battlefield day after day after day. Victory is not given. Victory is earned, and it is earned first in the silent chambers of your mind, where no one else can see, but where everything is decided. This is your call to arms. This is your war cry, not tomorrow, not someday. Now you draw the line. Now you summon the fire. Now you swear to yourself, not with words, but with action, that you will not be conquered, that you will not live a life of regret, that you will forge a mind so powerful, so disciplined, so fearlessly aligned with your purpose that no force on earth can hold you back. This is not a dream. This is not a fantasy. This is your battlefield, and the victory is already inside you. You need only to claim it. Win your mind, and you will win your life. Win your mind, and you will win your destiny. Win your mind, and you will become unstoppable. Rise, warrior. The battlefield awaits, and greatness is calling your name.